That's when I said, that's not a beep, that's a me.
But
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Thomas Podcast here today on a Sunday evening. Yes, it's a Sunday evening. Now, we've already reacted to the episode, so if you want to see what my initial reaction was, you can go check it out there. But now I'm joined to break down the episode with Osian Thomas and George Tucker.
hello.
Now, George, quick word, because you claim to be a big Doctor Who fan. Recent video, you said, I love Doctor Who, my heritage show. So why, according to Twitter, was it the 6th anniversary?
Right. I love Doctor Who. I'm also fucking dyslexic. You cannot blame that on me. And then it doesn't let you edit tweets.
No, you have to pay for that now. You have to pay for that.
That's stupid, Musk. What are you doing? I don't want to pay to edit.
Elon, mate. You get a little blue tick and everything.
I don't want a little blue tick so that I can edit my tweets. I just want to lie to people.
Can you delete tweets?
You can
delete them, but at that point, I'm like, I've got 2 followers on Twitter or whatever. There's no point. There is no point in changing it. It's funnier if I don't.
Yeah, so obviously this week we are going to be reviewing Doctor Who Unleashed, the special, The Star Beast, not the actual episode itself. That'll be coming out tomorrow. It's all about Unleashed only. I'm kidding, obviously.
Thank God for that. I have watched Unleashed as well. We definitely prepped by watching The Star Beast.
I'm not Stephen Powell. I cannot, use beans to pretend to use a boom mic or something. That's my takeaway. But yeah,
I'm glad that they did that little bit with the sound person. That was good.
I do like the behind the scenes stuff.
I liked it.
It is always fun.
It's good, and it's nice. It's half an hour long and good.
It's good when they do behind the scenes stuff in the behind the scenes show. Yes, Oshan, I agree.
Yeah, it was good.
That's a key component of my behind the scenes show. But Oshan, you didn't watch this for the first time on yesterday, did you?
No. I was lucky enough to watch this on the Thursday, on the anniversary of Doctor Who. And it was a good experience. There was a little Q&A with Russell T and Jane Tranter afterwards. So yeah.
You didn't look very thrilled with all the publicity photos that were taken at the event. And unfortunately for you, it's just one of those frames where
it doesn't look great. And also there were annoying kids in the front. So that's exactly what you want in a Q&A with Russell T.
But you did get mentioned in a tweet from somebody you've never interacted with.
Exactly. So I'm very confused of how he knew I was there. And who I was. So
but do you know who
thank you to that person.
Russell T Davis knew you were there. And you met
Russell T Davis did know I was there.
And you did meet Russell T Davis.
I did. I thanked
him. Why did you not meet Stephen Powell?
Do you know what? It's because afterwards it was absolutely packed, and there was no point that the area where they crowded. Luckily enough, when I was leaving, Russell T Davis was going to get a drink, and I bumped into him on the way out. So that's how I met him.
Absolutely, yeah. But like Stephen Powell, and every photo I've seen him, has just got a beer in his hand. So respect to Stephen.
He did. I saw him with a beer, and then
every photo he's got a beer in his hand. I know it's probably a within 5-minute window, but my head just goes every time he got a new photo. He demanded that they buy him a beer, just for the stress having to meet a bunch.
He drinks there, to be fair, and I didn't know that after I bought my drink. So
you paid for a drink, and you could have got a free drink.
Paid for a drink, and right next to all that crowd was just a table full of booze.
Well, why didn't you just pick one up?
Because I'd already paid for my drink, so I thought
that sounds like an excuse to have 2 drinks.
That's what anybody else would do.
It was too crowded. I had to leave after that.
You had to leave, but Russell T Davis was in the building.
I know.
But obviously, but all of us normies who didn't get tickets to that thing, we had to wait until 6:30 yesterday for it.
To be fair, it was fun seeing people's theories about it after watching it, because it's that weird things where people are already guessing stuff, and you go, "Oh, that's quite a good theory," and you go, "Oh my god, wait, they've actually nailed it on the head with that."
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was happy that I wasn't watching this episode with George, because George is annoyingly really good at just predicting things, and when he gets a prediction, he likes to tell you. So rather than enjoying it when something happens, he goes, "This is going to happen." And
I did it with Endgame, like
all the
way through Endgame. I was like, "Yo, I bet Cap's going to pick up Mjolnir at some point. I bet he's going to go into the past and he's going to reach out. He's going to get Mjolnir."
I was in the first hour. Other things that fun. Nonetheless, the best thing about that screening was when Rhodey goes, "You got to deal with what you got," and you tried to get this look of like encouragement, I'd look down at you like, what the fuck?
But you do work with what you've got, and according to this episode, everybody in a wheelchair has a gun. So
Well,
brilliant.
I mean, I've been exposed. But yeah, we'll have to get into that. But let's get into the episode itself. So the Star Beast, which aired on the 27th of November, 2023, and was written by Russell T Davies. Well, technically,
is it not the 25th of
oh shit,
November?
No.
You're a fool. I was like looking at the date, like, how have you what? How have you done this?
It up.
The drugs are kicking
already?
a bit. The drugs are kicking a bit. Yeah, so the 25th of November, ignore me. It was written by Russell Davies, but also based on a story by Pat Mills and Dave Gibbons.
Yes.
Stars David Tennant and Catherine Tate. Star Beast. Oh shit! Now you know what it's about by now. Basically,
Read the comic.
Miriam Margulies is a fur creature, and she's been hunted down by these green alien things. Meanwhile, the Doctor is trying not to get Donna to remember him, but everything around him is forcing them to be stuck together, almost like it's fate or somebody intervening.
Maybe.
And of course, you get your whole host of new characters and old. Some of the highlights in this is obviously Yasmin Finney coming in as Rose, and obviously Ruth Madley as well as the new scientific advisor. She's back. The scientific advisor role is back since Osgood is MIA, I guess. Apparently, there's been 37 of them, so I'm going to assume that some of them were a bit shit. Because they got the sack pretty quick. Unless there's multiple of them now. Where's Malcolm?
Bring back Lee Evans. That's what we need in Doctor Who.
Yeah,
More Lee Evans.
Yeah.
How many Bernards do you think that ship took up?
Oh, mate, too many Bernards. Too many Bernards.
Too many Bernards.
Too many Bernards. But yeah, I mean, what we all knew the twist going into it. It was more just, are they going to do the twist? Are they not? Rather than, and on a rewatch, it becomes very obvious that they are going to do the twist.
Yeah,
there's a lot more hints that actually they are. But what do we all thought? I'm going to pass to you, George, first.
Okay,
because you've not been around for a while.
So,
yeah.
Well, the first thing that I'd like to talk about is that
just
title sequence. Just general stuff.
General thoughts first, then we'll go into.
All in all, I really, really liked it. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was giddy watching it. I was like, I wanted to squeak, if that makes sense. I was very excited to just sit there and watch it. Super surreal seeing David Tennant and Catherine Tate back on our screens. Really, really weird. And all in all, I thought it was really, really great. I think it was. There are aspects that I wouldn't have put in there, but needed to be in there in order to catch previous viewers up, or to people who didn't see the show 15 years ago. But all in all, I thought it was really, really good.
Osh, what about you? You've seen it twice. Once in the cinema, once at telly. What do you think? Also, you've been badgering me for months, going, "Is it? It's gonna be Doctor Who 10 out of 10. He's back." Was it Doctor Who 10 out of 10? He's back.
It was a very good episode. It was. I really enjoyed it. It really brought me back to my childhood because everything just felt like it was ripped straight from the 2008 era, but also new, and there was new. It just felt.
It's always
modern,
good when
like it felt like
always good when Doctor Who feels new when it first
aired. I don't know, it is, but there was something strange
despite
about this.
The fact it's based on a 70s story, it feels new.
No, but his thing, it just felt like just a mix between old and new, and I generally really enjoyed it. Like I said, it isn't a 10 out of 10 story by any means, but I think this is a brilliant start to the new era, and I think it could just get better from now on.
Absolutely. It's kind of a weird start-stop, isn't it? Because it's sort of like a middle era before we really get involved. I'm going to say this is fun but flawed. I think there's a lot of things here that I think like everyone else, when you, as big Doctor Who fans, when you first watch it, you sort of watch it through rose-tinted glasses, and you're just kind of awing and ahhing at all the things that you haven't seen yet. This is incredible. Then you rewatch it, and it's still fun. And then because I was drunk last night on the second viewing, I thought I'm going to watch it one more time just to definitely make sure that I I watched it this morning, and yeah, I still think it's really fun. There were issues I have with it. I think we need to discuss.
Oh
those.
yeah,
I think
Mhm.
you know, but I think overall, I'm really happy to see that other people were happy. To me, Doctor Who never went away. I'm one of those luxury people that I just have always enjoyed it and still do. Those pre-titles, I say good
Dude.
start. Those pre-titles, I get why, but
this is
no.
what I was talking about when I said
but-
that I wouldn't have had it in there, but it was necessary to put it there.
Like you've got David in it on a very obvious green screen.
Very
I
obvious.
think Donna's aspect was quite good. I
Oh,
just think
but
that David's.
Yeah,
It's
Maybe
because
should
they
have
didn't
been-
want to put the new interior of the TARDIS in there. That's why
Yeah.
they did it like
Just-
that.
yeah, just have him on a set, or just have him voice
Yeah.
overing the previous clips.
In
Instead-
a street. I'd just taken that. If he was just like in a street with some crazy lighting, it would have been fine.
I can fully understand why they did it.
I also didn't like the line "Once upon a time, Lord." I was like, oh,
Once upon a time, Lord. Yeah.
Oh my god, that was a really good. That
Yeah,
was really good.
He can do it. He can do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's something he's got in his locker.
I appreciate that.
And then we get to the new title sequence. So this is drumming up a lot of controversy because I like parts of it, but I think it's also not great.
Really?
The way that I put it is the camera angle looks great. I think the text looks great. The logo swoop curl thing is horrendous.
When the logo appears, that's when
It does. It does have that PNG effect. I think the CG in it blew me away because we haven't had an intro like that before.
Yeah,
I think the closest
new.
we get to that is what 7B series 7B, where it feels a bit less. But this was done properly. This looks like one of those really cool YouTube ones.
That's exactly what me and Reese were saying. It looked like if someone did that on YouTube, you'd go, really good job. As a BBC finished product, I sit there and I go, it did just look a bit. I liked how it moved and the camera moved. I thought it was great, but the TARDIS looked a bit weak in it. I thought it lacked a bit of gravitas. It reminded me more of the Class intro than anything else, with its blistering colours.
I understand the criticisms of
the theme slaps. The theme slaps.
Yeah. Oh, hands down.
Something I don't know if I like it. I think it'll just come to preference. But how quickly it ends. How there's something. It's very more fast paced, isn't it?
It's not in time with the music. It feels like when they started in the Capaldi era, and it took them a while to learn when things need to pop up. I think hopefully, and also they will, but obviously they've got a second version of it coming when Shooty arrives. I know they're just going to change.
Good point.
I was going to say they'll just change the colours of the vortex.
But it gives them a chance to potentially rejig something.
Yeah.
So I think there is life in it, and the way the camera moves is insane, and I think that's a really good idea. Gives it a lot of life. I like the text. I think that looks cool, and how you're sort of like descending onto it. But like,
do you know the shot when the TARDIS is like from afar and it goes like whoop, and it's like
it like
pushes
through the smoke, through the cloud. Yeah.
Ish.
I think the shot where it's like Buckbeak when he's going over the river in Harry Potter, and he puts his finger in the river. It looks like that, but the time vortex of the TARDIS, and I really like it.
It's good, but it leaves a lot to be desired. I think is the best way. Would
you have preferred it if they'd have done something a bit more traditional with it?
I know it's not the traditional. I think it just looks a bit cheap. I think the 2005 one looks better, and we are now 18 years later.
I don't think I agree. I agree.
You put them back to back, right? With the way the text goes and all that. Which one will get you more excited for an episode of Doctor Who? I'm instantly saying that. The way that logo moves, the way that the TARDIS is driving you towards the text, and it blasts off the camera. That there's so much more to it. This one,
I think visually, this one is way more appealing.
It's more colourful, but it just doesn't look finished. It doesn't look finished, in a strange sense. I looked at it and I just went, it looks like when the logo comes in, it's like a placeholder.
When the logo comes in, it's like,
it's janky,
yeah. It just looks like they've gone onto PowerPoint and gone, which of these animations do we like? There's no disrespect to anyone that's done it, because obviously they put a lot of hard effort into it. But you just when you look at the intro, and it's always that's the one thing that's exciting about new eras. You go, new music, new intro, and me and Reese looked at it, and we both looked at each other and went, But the opposite of that,
I was expecting something more to like a very close to the 2000 and
so was I.
especially the 4. You know what I mean?
I think because they want to use this for the shooty era.
Yeah.
They probably, although this is a return to sort of that mold, you very quickly are not.
To be fair, people would have complained if it was just the 2008.
Oh, but people are already complaining about this, and we've got to get into those complaints because it upsets me very much dearly. But let's start the episode, get you straight into it. When the episode actually starts, I'm loving it. Tennant comes out the TARDIS, within 20 seconds he bumps into Donna, and she goes,
noted as well.
So I even though it's a criticism that I have throughout in the episode itself, I do like how fast-paced the start is. It just puts into it straight away. He sees her, and then everything starts kicking off.
I think the pacing in this is spot on.
I really like that we didn't get any regeneration haze either. Like, he's just there, he's doing his stuff because time has passed. There's an entire comic strip between what happened in that last episode and what's happening now.
Shit's canon for some reason.
Yes, it is. I bought the book
Doctor Who magazine, everyone. It's canon. I can't wait for David to not reference that, and we just never reference it, but it is canon. I thought the pacing shows that it's a Rachel Talalay episode and it's a Russell T Davies pen script.
Okay,
the pacing within this is it's fun. It's never boring, which is Doctor Who.
No, that is true.
To reference what I said in your recent video, John, Doctor Who should never be boring. It's really difficult to make Doctor Who boring. And this is not that. This is not boring in any shape of the word. But no, obviously we very quickly get reunited with Catherine Tate, and she shouts at David for putting the boxes back on in a very good comedic moment.
Yes,
actually, it's nice to see Rachel do a bit of comedy because obviously her episodes in the Steve Moffat era are some of the darker ones, and she does that very well as well. No denying it. But then we also meet Yasmin Finney Rose in this for the first time. What do you make of this new character? I think this is obviously Yasmin Finney coming into the universe. I think it's a great step forward for representation, stuff like that. But as an overall character and to the plot,
I wanted more.
Yes, that's exactly my point. I thought again, this is coming from someone who is a straight white man. The representation for me, I thought was great. On the surface, somebody can tell me with more knowledge and who that I'm wrong. But to me, the representation itself was great. Donna as an ally of a mother was great to see, and how she's like, I would rain hell for you. I
loved the scene when they were with the grandma and Sylvia and Donna.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I thought that was
Sylvia like accidentally misgendered
because you have that.
And she's like, I'm really sorry. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like if everything was, it makes it like Russell goes like, people are going to make mistakes, and making mistakes is okay. I think it's a ballsy move, but that entire scene where they're on the bikes, and obviously I believe you get I don't know I know there's a term going around, but I don't know that, and they use Rose's name before the transition.
It's dead naming, isn't it?
Dead naming. Thank you very much. And I mean, fair play to those extras as well, because you get that script and.
That's a dodgy part to take.
That's a dodgy part. I was in Doctor Who. What did you do? I dead named a trans woman. It's like, so fair play to those guys, because they did play it well. And although they're in it for like 10 seconds, you immediately get hit with that's relatable to anyone, because anyone's been called names. Like Donna says, if that's someone's boy, I know she was called names. I made them up.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good. I think Yasmin Finney is really good in it when she's not just looking at CGI. I think you can tell very much that she struggles with stuff that isn't there. Like it's the spaceship, and like there's no dramatic emphasis on her diet. And that's only because, to my knowledge, she's never done anything like this, and that's absolutely fair.
Is this a second show?
Maybe.
That's a good one to land. It's a good one to land on your second outing,
And I think with Beep, when Beep's there, she's very good because she's got that physical prop to work off of. But like, I just think there are certain. Oh, sorry, the Meep.
The Meep.
There are certain times. Article. The definite article, if you will. But as a character, obviously, in the latter half, she has more impact on the plot, which I know has already stirred viewers up. We're going to get into that, and whether it breaks logic and ruins Journey's End. It doesn't. But we're going to get into that. But yeah, I think overall as an introduction, it's great. I like the fact that David's reaction to
Rose.
hearing the name Rose and then the bag of eyes. But
Mhm.
the underrated hero of this episode, Sean Temple, pops up.
Oh,
and
what a
finally,
legend.
And finally gets a character.
Mhm.
And then it gets revealed. Also great shout out to Neris.
Yeah, all these characters came back as well.
Yeah.
All these...
Sean
Susie
finally had a
Mare.
character because
Oh.
Sean is barely even in the end of time. Really, you don't really meet
Mhm.
Sean too much. I think he's in one scene in the living room.
And I think
maybe
this is the
talk.
first time that he has met the Doctor. Do you guys think that?
Does he know?
Yes.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Do you think Sylvia and Wilford being like, by the way, this happened?
I think yes.
I think his reaction when he walks in and everybody's there and the Meep's humping Donna's leg, I think his reaction to that would be weird if he wasn't aware of the past.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think overall, like him discussing, we found out what happened to that lotto money. She gave it all away.
To be more like the Doctor subconsciously.
She gave it all away, and I was thinking to myself, and it does change in that part of the episode, so I went on against it. But I was like, Donna, I know it's meant to be like a nice-hearted thing, but you fucking moron! Like, if you donate 160 mil,
you'd keep 6 million back.
Keep that back. That's quite generous, you know. That's quite generous, and. You know that, but I was just sitting there going, and Sean's like, "Oh well, I've got the two best cars in the world. She's a legend." And then
I'd be like, "Oh my god!"
It was a nice scene. It kind of captures. It works effectively for me as well as like a catch up to where all our characters are now.
Yeah. I really didn't expect the money to be a big part in this episode.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it had to be because when you win a triple rollover,
yeah,
and now you're back in suburban London or Cardiff. You know, you need to find out what happened to that lotto money. Do you know what I mean? Did she just pay for the unit tower? That was another theory going around.
I was going to say, because I thought in my head canon, I was like, no, maybe she's been like working with Unit and sort of financing that sort of rebuild up since Moffat sort of left it in tarnishes and then Chibnall dropped it completely.
So we saw that
and then brought it back. He blew it up just to bring it back.
Yeah.
And then blew it up again. That's what happened. Unit always gets blown up. It's literally,
of course.
If you've seen the trailer, if you've seen, it's going to get blown up again.
Mm-hmm.
It probably
the shards in fire on the background.
There's a Gatling gun on the helipad.
Yes.
So get
I actually found it was really nice to see like a full-on like armatized unit, you know?
Oh my god.
Like a proper like RTD style Poison Sky or Sontaran Stratagem style unit troop is really nice.
Also to quickly, I don't want to jump around or anything, but you were on there about the shard and the stuff being blown up. What's one thing that I have to say about this episode? I didn't expect so many stuff in the trailer to be from this episode.
Yeah,
but I think when you think about it, it makes sense because it
makes sense. Yeah, but I generally thought the London like crack.
This one's low stakes. This one's low stakes. Like in terms of the next two, we'll get into that at the end of the episode. We'll have a quick talk about what could potentially be coming up, but. Yeah, I think as well, like you say, we get into Unit, get those Ross V. Davis, we get the BBC News, but I don't know who gets taken away.
Oh, that was so good.
Where is Trinity Wells? We need Trinity Wells. Where is she? I'm waiting. And then we meet our next character, is Shirley Ann. I think it's Shirley Ann Bingham. It's definitely Shirley Bingham. Is it Shirley Ann?
It's Shirley Ann Bingham. I wrote it down earlier.
And this is where I need to get into Alex Kingdom rant mode because I'm really annoyed at certain people on the internet today. Because the big criticism being thrown at Ruth Madley, she crossed her legs. How is she in a wheelchair? She's crossed her legs.
She could be hopping everywhere.
And it's like, how, as a total person, and I guarantee there are people on Twitter that put a lot more politely, but how ignorant to assume that the actor isn't disabled or therefore doesn't need a wheelchair just because they can move their legs. In fact, I'm in my legs right now. This is, could you imagine if the actor wasn't disabled and their way of acting as a disabled person was to cross their legs? But that's what they're saying. They're genuinely, there are some, let's call them idiots on the internet, calling it a directional oversight. Like,
they not know that she is disabled herself.
Do you think people making those stupid claims do their research?
Doing research,
yeah. But so shout out to Ruth Madley and shout out to the people that have been very kind about the role. And now let's talk about the best scientific advisor to be in Modern Who. Yes, she's better than Osgood. Malcolm. Okay, as entertainment value. Yes, I'll give you that. But as a character, I like the fact
of course.
that
She's really
all of
fun,
us,
really
all
fun.
of our scientific advisors are different. Like you've got
Mhm.
Malcolm, who's a bumbling idiot but really smart at the same time. You've got
Osgood's
Osgood,
the super
who's
fan.
yeah, he's a super fan. And you've got Shirley, who's like
Who's
she's
a
a fan.
badass.
It's a fan, but she doesn't
Yeah.
care. Like she immediately, even though the doctor's back, she's like, "No, I'm doing my job. Piss off." Like I don't need you.
I like that she just like rolls up behind him. Is like, "You're right. What are you doing back here, mate?"
And I think the fact that she, because of her status in her job, she doesn't need to talk down to the doctor. She feels at a level with the doctor already. There's none of that. Oh, the doctor needs to like give her flowers and say,
So
"Oh,
is she like a
good."
second in command type thing? No.
She's a scientific advisor. I think she's basically like the lead field specialist. If you think Kate's like the head honcho, the numero uno, Lord of the Rings.
Do you think we'll see her again in the last episode?
I'm happy that you got my reference there, George, because
the numero uno, the Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
The Bourne identity.
The Bourne identity.
I think she's the field and like the secondary field unit person. I can only imagine. Obviously, we don't know.
Do you think we'll see her in that third episode?
I think we're going to see. I'm going to see a lot more of her going forward. I don't think unit are going away. I'm not going to say there's a specific spin-off on the way because we don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, we don't know if that's happening.
I'm sure that unit will appear in Earth-based spin-offs because they appeared in Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess so. They're all
I really hope
in the world of Doctor Who.
Universe. Yeah, in the Whoniverse. Yeah.
An extended Whoniverse.
But then we also get another great scene which is causing controversy because Twitter likes to cause arguments where they go, "Why would you make the scientific advisor a woman and in a wheelchair if she can't climb stairs?" That's the whole point of representation, you fools. This is why he did it. And the way that she just goes, "Don't make me the problem, just get the job done." Right.
Also, it's a bit of script stuff there as well, because obviously, why would he put her? Why obviously the representation's there, but why would he then get her attacked by this?
Yeah, exactly.
Weird... It's a reason for her not to be there. So when,
but I also think as well that like it's a good bit of representation because first of all, not everything is flat, which it wouldn't be in a coal mine anyway, which I like.
Yeah.
Number two, I think it works because it shows her assertiveness. It shows that she's not held back by disability. She goes, "Do your job. Don't make me an issue." It shows that she doesn't give a fuck that she's disabled. She's just going to do the job to best her ability. And like you say, number three, it enables her to therefore not get stunnified by the end of it. I as a person who is in a wheelchair, I thought her characterization was great. We'll get into the more badass, funny bits towards the end of the episode where I was literally laughing and punching the air. But I've also got to give a shout out to Russell because we're talking about cosplays and disability cosplays. And I think everybody, as a wheelchair user, people always go Dalek. And sometimes your mates will go Dalek and you'll laugh. But I think as a general conception, the only people can dress up as and use their chair as part of that, really, is a space Nazi. Whereas now, we've got a character that people can use. I liked the fact that you can get a unit branded wheelchair, so it makes the cosplays really easy for people. Like all people need to do at a convention now is put a unit badge on the back of their chair. Boom, it's a cosplay. They're part of unit. It's great. That's all you need. I think that's a really good thing. And Russell's talking about opening the eyes to people, and I think that's a great way to do it. Don't knock them over the head with it. Don't be like, "Oh, disability is such a bad, it's so difficult." Make them badass and make them compassionate, and we can have conversations about it. But I like as well that the doctor doesn't double take Shirley or doesn't double take it Ro. They just think the doctor just doesn't even think about it at all. They just exist, and that's good representation for me.
Has there ever been a time where the doctors? Oh, sorry. Has there ever? I don't know if I glitched there. Has there ever been a time where the doctors like stumble upon someone who's of a different ethnicity or anything like that and pointed it out? I don't know that.
The first Doctor in Twice Upon a Time is legitimately sexist
never mind.
and racist.
Never mind.
For some reason. I love Stephen Moffat, but I didn't get what's going on there whatsoever. No. But no, I think that was really well done. Also, while we're at the beginning point of this, let's talk about Tate and Tennant, because I think they slipped back into it like that. Now, I know
they never left.
I know they've done Big Finish, so they kind of haven't really stopped. But doing, and this is no disrespect to voice actors at all, doing voice acting and then translating that to the screen is a different job.
Yeah.
And he's certainly slots back into it. Catherine plays it a bit different. which I like.
they
Yeah.
both do a really good job at playing the same characters, but after time has passed, because obviously, like, it would be very easy for both of them just to be like, oh right, yeah, this is exactly the same as where we left off. But you see that there is, like, at one point, the Doctor's like, oh, I absolutely love her. And then he goes, oh, do I talk like that now? And like, it's obviously that little bit difference where he's grown. And I noticed that Catherine Tate, until she gets Dr. Donald again, she's playing very much the runaway bride Donna. And then when she gets Dr. Donald again, she's suddenly back to her, like, right at the end of series 4 Donna.
I think that with Tennant, I think that he, like, you can like or hate Tennant's Doctor or whatever, but I think that as an actor, he was born to play the role. I think that because he even in little things he's done, he just switched on.
I think we've had a few. I think that's lucky about the casting directors, is that it's very rare you get an actor and go, they're not doctorish. In fact, I don't think there's ever been any actor that I've gone, what on earth, you're going to be instantly shit. I've never had that instigation with anyone. You know, there's some doctors you look at and go, all right, I've never seen Jodie Whittaker or anything. I know Peter Capaldi's the bloke that swears, but then when you do a bit of research and you watch a reel or whatever and you look at their stuff, you go, yeah, I can see it. Same thing with Shatwa. You know, obviously we've seen him Sex Education, and I went, yeah, that's a great choice. Somebody that you wouldn't think, which isn't normally what they do.
Yeah, you always want to go for the people you don't really think, do you?
Yeah, I think there's a certain amount of heart that Tennant has for Doctor Who, because he's like
a fan,
us.
isn't he?
He's absolutely a fan first, and you can tell that in his portrayal of the Doctor. There's a lot of taking from previous Doctors and that sort of thing that obviously you're not going to get it unless you've seen most of the show.
To go back to what you said about Catherine, George, I actually disagree. I don't think she ever played the runaway bride Donna at all. I think you can tell that it's definitely a Donna not affected by the Doctor, but you can tell it's a Donna that's been affected by becoming a mother.
Absolutely.
It's nowhere near the same character. Yes, she's still quite snarky, and you know, she's like, I'm not a charity, and she does all that like slower voice stuff that she does when she's, but I don't think it's the same character at all. You can tell this is not even close to where you meet Donna even at Partners in Crime. It's an entirely different character, still played very much the same, but I'd actually argue that for someone who isn't a trained actor as such, Catherine Tate is always
does it brilliantly. Yeah, absolutely.
What I will say as well is, obviously during this time we also meet the Meep in a different space pod. A little lad runs over to Rose. I assume they know each other from school or something. It's not really important.
I think his name's like Fudge or something.
Fudge, but he's apparently related to the guy in Turn Left, that, like, the man who lives in the house with all the different people.
Oh.
Because he has the same surname.
In Leeds?
Or something.
The Leeds
people?
In
Leeds, yeah.
Oh,
that's really
or
something
sweet.
to him.
Okay.
It's a little Easter egg there.
Which is cool. Yeah, it's a cool... I mean, you never hear the guy's last name, but I think it's a kind of little...
So Fudge kind of runs up to Rose and goes, it's a spaceship, Rose. And then Rose, by the way, I do not advise anybody who is a young person, goes down a back alley in the middle
without her phone as well.
Without her phone.
Why did he not go with a phone?
I know, right?
Rummages around in some bins and finds the Meep.
The moment I see the hand, I'm running in the opposite direction. I'm not really getting them out of the bins.
I know it's meant to be like E.T., but wouldn't you be like terrified?
Yeah, but the reason that she's not is because of something we'll get onto later on. A subconscious thing, perhaps.
That
makes her not as scared. But yeah, obviously played by the wonderful Miriam Margolyes, who, of course, this isn't her first forte within Who either.
She played the exact same character.
But basically, basically, it's the same arc.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously that kind of links our two stories, and Rose takes the Meep to her shed, not Clive's shed, not different shed.
Different shed.
Fortunately, the Daniels family of Southampton are not in the shed. That would have been a great little reference, though.
And friend.
And it turns out that she's making plushies basically to raise some money because
her mum gave away millions of pounds.
But gives away millions of pounds and is now unemployed due to a coffee-related incident. Of course, as well, this is where we get the wonderful scene we discussed earlier about when Sylvia does get the pronouns incorrect, and they have a little discussion there about that. And we get one of my favorite lines is, "I would burn down the world for you, darling." I was like, that is peak mothering, and you can tell that she means it. There is force behind that as well. And of course, that brings our wonderful doctor to the fray as well. He knocks on the door. He goes, "Sylvia!"
Oh, it's so chaotic.
Could you let me in? Could you?
It's so chaotic.
And then obviously Sylvia gives him a good old smack, which I know is a massive fan of. I think it's literally called slapstick comedy. If it's used in the right way, it's okay. And this is definitely
she's
that.
saving her fucking daughter.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Tennant's really good. And he's like, oh, should have expected that.
Sylvia's brilliant in this. Can I just Sylvia as a character?
Sylvia was very one-dimensional, but she served her purpose in the original story. Wilf is definitely meant to be the more expansive and more forward-thinking, and the companion that never was, if you will. That's kind of his role within the story. Donna gets to go on the adventures that Wilf always wanted to go on, and that's kind of the bittersweet part of the character. Whereas Sylvia was just the regular mum. Basically, after Jackie, Russell went, well, I can't really write a more liked mum than Jackie Tyler. So I'm just kind of going to give up and just kind of make them a bit moody and a bit sort of not likable to start with. And obviously,
I think because
at the end of her arc in Journey's End, Sylvia's still not likable because she's still my daughter. And he goes, "Why don't you try telling her for once then?" or something like that. So even at the end, when you last really see her, I know she's ended timing in a bit, but Sylvia's not really in that either. It's really just the Wilf episode.
Yeah, she has a really good moment though. I think with the money that Tennant in the end of time when he gives the money from the dad.
Jeffrey Noble money. Yeah.
Jeffrey Noble, his name was. So the music kicks in. But you know, I think she's really good as well comedically because you sort of like you get the Donna and Dr. Donna beats here between two, and then she's there kind of neutralizing it. So you kind of get spoon-fed it, and she kills it dead.
I absolutely love the line where she's like, "I thought you said that if she ever remembered you, then she would die." And she goes, "Yeah, well, like remembering me and seeing me is a little bit different. I could get away with this." Yeah.
And then there is still nothing that's more funny than we did skip a bit. Obviously, everyone knew this was happening, but at this point in the episode as well, Donna has touched the eye of Meat, and gone, "What the hell?" And we've got a bloody Martian in the house.
I liked what was it?
That was a good callback.
Crazy Paddington or something like that.
Paddington. We could sell Mad Paddington for $1 million.
For $1 million, yeah.
But I did really like. I'd say I get this is a bit controversial with real life events, but I did think that the Wilf thing was very funny, only in the way that Sylvia and Donna like reply.
He's not dead. Like, you idiot. He's 94 and he can't handle the stairs.
And then she goes, "How do you know about us?" And he goes over to Sean and goes, What did I say?
Brendan Neris. Yeah, Brendan Neris.
Yeah. Oh, Neris.
Neris.
Of course.
That snake in the grass.
It's really funny, this episode.
It is really good.
I love that. And then obviously we get the whole conversation. We learn a bit more about the Meep, the genuine article. I go by the Meep. He goes, "Yeah, I do that too." Very good stuff. Then we get to another bit of the episode I don't like. I thought it's going to be something going forward that I don't like. First of all, I want to say the LED displays that the Sonic Screwdriver can do, love that. I think it's so much more interesting than the Doctor looking at the Sonic and going, "The Sonic's telling me blah, 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 blah."
Yeah.
Where the hell are you seeing that? That doesn't make any sense.
It's the show don't tell part.
So to have LED screens when the Doctor's scanning the ship and at the beginning, love that.
Yep.
The Sonic creating shields
are
basically bulletproof after getting shot at consistently.
Yep.
I think it's fine.
Not only does he create shields, he makes them, pops over, makes one, does another one, takes a trot over, puts a second one there.
Yeah,
I think it's fine for this episode, but I think going forward, they need to be careful what they do with
Absolutely.
it. Because I understand it's meant to get you out of situations, but that was like, what? Because I've always had a I understand that Tennant used it quite a lot. Then Smith used it a bit more, and then when Jodie came in and she would like know everything from the screwdriver, I was always like, oh, okay. Well, I hope they don't. I hope when we get Tennant with it, it's toned down a bit. But then I saw them doing the shields, and I was like, oh, okay, we're not doing that. We're going the opposite way. Okay.
Yeah.
I would have been absolutely fine if he'd have gone into his pocket. Same thing as like the judge wig. He's just got it on him. If he'd gone into his pockets and be like, oh, it's a portable shield generator, but just like a one-time use thing, it would have been a lot better. And it means that then the screwdriver is free to be used elsewhere without having the expectation of I can pop up a shield whenever I want.
Yeah, this is also the part of the episode where Alex went, I love Rachel Talalay because her direction in this fight sequence is so good. There's one shot where it's like a pan up to the sky and it starts a regular effect, and then the VFX of the Wrath Warrior comes into it, and like that was incredible. And we get a bit of comedy where they're like roaming through different houses and the Doctor's resonating concrete.
The resonating concrete,
and then you pan up and the Wraith Warrior comes in and then it pans up to the.
It's great. It's
great. Brilliant. Yeah.
And then obviously we have a bit of comedy. It's not really much exposition, but like the Doctor and Donna are sort of bantering back and forth, and there's even a bit where he gives her the screwdriver as well, and she
and she just takes it and
that sort of stuff. But then we get to the street, and the Doctor kind of checks on one of our dead bodies, and he sees that it's not dead, and he's thinking, something's not right here. So he takes Meat down to an underground car park and shoots it.
No, I must admit, I'm glad, like the fact that they explain, like, because obviously when the Wraith Warriors are shooting the taxi, I was like, I mean, I hate to be that person.
Yeah,
but nothing. Why is no glass or anything?
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
They've done this in the past, and obviously glass is like, nothing's happened to the taxi, and then they explain it. I was like, okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think we were all thinking the same thing, and then I suddenly went to they're doing the thing.
Yeah, this is a plot point.
Then we get to a nice little bit, a reference to the Stones of Blood, which I don't think either of you will know. When Tom Baker did the exact same thing and pulled out the exact same wig, and Tennant does it. Another thing I don't like that the Sonic Screwdriver can do randomly is teleport to random Wrath Warriors from. Well, who knows where
he does. There's a little bit of like audio over the top where he's like intercepting teleports,
and it's sort of like where did you place the teleport? I get what he means, but it's like when I didn't see him throw it, and he was very busy in that house. So when did he have time to tag two Wrath Warriors and go?
Like here's the thing where it's just like I get it, the screwdriver, but like, do we need like? I understand the screwdriver is meant to do stuff for the Doctor to help him out in situations, but without really any explanation or just stuff like that, you kind of go, what?
It's been an issue with the entirety of Mon Who.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, whenever, and this is no disrespect to anybody writing Doctor Who, it's a difficult program, but basically, whenever they get themselves in a little corner, they can go, well, I've got a Sonic. I mean, I could just. It does that.
I think we don't get it an awful lot in Eccleston's tenure. Because you see him in like the Doctor dances when he's trying to resonate concrete, it's not working. Yeah. He's trying to do this thing that is pretty much impossible, and obviously they call back to that in this.
But my partner was saying like it does make sense for the Sonic to kind of now be like this because it's been so long. Obviously, it's just gone better and better. But on a writing and storytelling
entertainment note,
that's where it gets
I wasn't a fan. And this is when the Meat goes from one of the cutest things ever to genuinely how on earth, because I was like, I know it's going to turn evil, but that thing looks terrifying,
dude. The practical effects that they used to the Meat.
I thought that like the nice one was like proper, and they just I thought the entire evil part was CGI. Like when they went evil, and none of it is. Obviously, it's all touched up by CGI.
There's a 2D face rig. And that is like that's it. So you can like change the eye expressions and actual lip sync, but that's it. The rest of it's practical, and it looks phenomenal.
Because I thought they basically did the Deadpool and Spider-Man method, where they like just had the eyes there and they animated them, which obviously they did in this to make it a bit more effective. And by the way, bless that Paul Bean in the Meat outfit. That looks horrible.
Oh, I know, right?
I genuinely hope, and this is not me taking the piss, I hope she was on like £100 an hour. I know it's ludicrous money, but to be inside that thing where you can't breathe, see, or anything, and you've got
the fact she's doing that interview in the Unleashed, and she's there smiling away, being like, "I can't see, I can't hear, and it's really hot.
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe either, and I've got this guy whispering in my ear, telling me to turn a bit left." Like, yeah, absolutely.
But like, obviously, I like the fact as well that we all know Miriam's great, but how she changes her voice from this innocent
Brilliant.
meep to then evil, and it is
To
just
hell with this.
to hell with. There isn't even any pretense. There's no defense. She just goes batshit.
Face changes as well from something really cute to something super sinister.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the fact as well that Donna gets roped into the story because Meek goes, "And you're a weird child," and that's when Donna goes, "Absolutely not. You stay the fuck away from my kid." And again, you could go, "Why would that an alien's threatening her?" But it's very made aware that this isn't the first time that Rose has been bullied and had names thrown at her. So I think Donna is very sensitive to hearing things like, "Oh, you're a weird child." And I guarantee you can say there's no subtext there for it, but I can guarantee it's meant to be implied that she's probably had that as a parent as well. People are like, "Oh, that's a bit, what's going on there with with Rose and stuff." So you can tell that bring her into the action. I think is a really good call to action for Donna. The Doctor getting knocked out is always funny because just shut up, mate. And then that kind of sets up for our final action set piece, which is crazy. Now, I think that entire middle act is great. To put that on now, I think the entire middle act is really fun.
First act and second act, really good.
Now we got to get into the does it work portion of the story, and we might not like all of this. So if you guys were super, super positive, I'm just put it out there now. I'm glad. Doctor Who should be great and fun. And as somebody that enjoyed the last era, all I want people is to enjoy Doctor Who because
I think it kind of sums up a lot of the old RTT stuff, like his setup and stuff. Very, very good. And the stuff he tries to do with it after, it sometimes work, but sometimes doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm going to say right now, I don't know what either of these guys think because I don't hate this act much at all. I don't. I think a lot of it works, but
I do think a lot of it still has that, but it still has that.
So basically, it's revealed that Meep ship, the big ship, was not the Wrath ship. That was always the Meep's plan was always to take over that big ship.
It's called like a dual razor blade or something like that.
Yeah, and it's going to dig a hole and destroy all of London town. So the Doctor's got
what does she want to do with it? Just destroy it? There wasn't like any.
Because she's like, basically she goes, if I can't get what I want, I'm going to blow it up. Yeah, I'm going to take you with me. She goes, I'm going to die. I'm going to take you with me because the Meeps are that deranged.
Oh, because of the
psychedelic sun.
The Wrath Warrior says that they used the Meeps said they would rather die than if they're gonna die, they're gonna take people down with them. And so obviously you have these warriors that have been affected by the psychedelic sun. They're in a lift. Great lift acted, by the way. It's always great to see a lift shot when the lift is very clearly either moving slightly or not at all. And they will have to do let's do a little jump
let's do a little dark area where we can pan between two shots.
And then we get one of the best moments in Doctor Who history for me. I love this. I can't lie because this has been my dream as a kid, and it's great to see Shirley just take
stunners.
Mate, brother, the amount of people that used to be twats to me like in school and stuff. Imagine if I could just.
No, you'd use the other one. You would 100%
you'd be blowing people up, man.
Yeah. I would use it by mistake. I tried to.
You pressed the wrong button.
But no, she has trank darts in there, and the Doctor goes, "You have weapons in a wheelchair." And she goes, "We all do, mate. I wish I did. I tell you that now." And then obviously as well, she goes, "It doesn't just do darts," and she blows up the wall. Now I'm sorry, but if that doesn't get you, whether you're in a wheelchair or not, if that doesn't get you on side of a character just being badass.
But I also think it is so RTD. It's so camp to do it.
I said last night. I think it's really Bond. I think that's straight out of James Bond.
I
think that is straight. Like you can see, not saying that
Q wasn't Q in a wheelchair?
Well, I don't know, but I could just see Q making, being like, "Oh, here's this wheelchair with weapons. There's a Gatling gun and everything."
Don't they do it in Johnny English?
Yeah, they do it in Johnny English.
Yeah, but straight out of Johnny English doesn't sound as entertaining. But no, I thought it was brilliant. I thought, considering she's on screen for basically 3.5 minutes to 4 minutes in this episode, they sell her character
very
really
strong
well.
Introduction,
and I think anyone going, "Oh, it's a box ticking exercise," is so wrong in both form, in all the forms of representation of the story. I think there are no people here for people's sake. But now we get to our big rocket finale, and the interesting part about this is we thought all these shots were from Wild Blue Yonder, because these were the ones that they showed for the trailer, or the implied trailer for Wild Blue Yonder, but no, it's from the Star Beast.
Tennant goes, the why does it have to be this?
Yeah, just the why does it have to be this? But yeah, there's one clip from the trailer we haven't seen yet, which I'm going to talk about at the end of the episode. But we get the scene where basically the Donna calls him the Doctor before even the Meta Crisis has come back.
Yes.
If the and Sylvia wonderfully goes, she called him the Doctor.
Well, there's even the part in the transit van when she's talking about giving away the money, and she goes, "Oh, I don't know, it just felt like something that you would do." And it just comes out really naturally, and everybody sort of looks at each other like
something he would do.
He would do.
When I was watching that, I thought it was for Wilf. I thought it was
for Wilf.
I still think it is a Wilf thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's his I think that's the implication. Also, as well, Wilf not in this episode. I don't know if he was meant to be in it. Part of me feels like he was. He definitely was on set in Camden. Spoilers
I wouldn't
people,
be surprised if they've taken all of the Wilf shots from this episode to put them in that final episode, so it feels like he's more included in that one episode rather than being dotted out throughout.
The fact though that he's been looked after by Kate Stewart, lovely, love that, good stuff. Can't wait to see him. Hopefully. They've kept him a secret.
I would really love in the commentary thing that's on iPlayer at the moment. David Tennant's talking about like Wilf as a matter of fact, rather than like, oh yeah, it would have been lovely to have him in these episodes. Like he's talking as if it's still in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he does show up in the final episode.
Now we get to our heartbreaking finale. So the Meep is about to destroy London town. Meep's like, do you know what? I'm done. I don't like Arsenal. Don't like Tottenham. Fair play, Meep. Get them gone. And they're gonna blow everything up. So the Doctor has to go and slide and hit a bunch of buttons. He's a kid at a buttons shot.
It's a lovely Tennant style shot where he's going about running through controls, tapping everything, trying to get it done.
And
lovely.
The Meep splits it, and the Doctor's caught on the other side. And he goes, why? This week he goes, why does it have to be there?
It's so good. They're such good actors. It's unbelievable.
And Donna does the whole thing from the beginning of series 4, where she's like,
I'm nobody.
Yeah, he's like, no, you're not.
No, you are not. He's like really upset about it.
And then Russell T Davies has watched Captain America: Civil War because he starts reading off
Homecoming.
It's freight train.
These random words. Mexico.
Wake words.
Pelican.
Pelican was one of them. Yes.
Yeah, I had a little mini cheer for myself. I was like, oh. But yeah, the Dr. Donna comes back. The fact that it's not this triumphant moment. The first thing she said is, I gave away all my money.
Yeah.
All my money.
Because of you. Yeah.
Also, Alex, I guess in this moment, can we talk about the music? The music.
Right. I Am the Doctor starts playing, right?
But there's so many renditions. The Doctor Forever's at the start of this.
Absolutely,
There's so many.
It's really nice hearing it, especially over the top of the Doctor Donna. Yeah.
There were moments, I will admit, in this episode where I don't think. Well, I think that goes along with what it was like in the past, but I don't think there needed to be that much music in certain scenes. But in certain bits where they definitely didn't need music, they toned down on it, which I'm glad they did.
Absolutely. And of course we get a nice little basically Donna goes, how long have I got? And he goes 55 seconds. She goes, best 55 seconds of my life, and then starts doing all the stuff. And then the thing about this being a one part of a 3-parter, and we know they're
you need to tie it up.
Yeah.
Like, it's not you need to tie it up, but you just,
it's that we know she's gonna survive.
Instead of being like, oh no, she's gonna die, it's like, well, how do they get out of this one then?
It's the classic Sarah Jane Adventures next time bit where Clyde's about to die and then he's immediately in the next time episode.
So that it's not a slight on the piece of media as a whole. It's just when you're not fully engrossed and you go, well, we've got 2 more episodes in the series. I'm sure they said she's in on 3. I've seen her in more stuff. But so that was the thing. And then obviously what happened is, because she had a child, part of the regeneration energy in the Meta Crisis got siphoned off into Rose. And now this has caused a lot of controversy basically because do you think it's a get out of jail free card or do you think it makes sense? Because
No,
I think it makes so much sense.
I think it makes sense. What
Yeah.
I think was not necessary is doing the whole non-binary thing. And this is going to, all right, hear me out because this will be problematic from the start, okay? I absolutely love that this trans character is getting some representation and the trans community is getting representation. I'm a fan of not pointing out representation for the sake of representation.
I'm not saying you're incorrect because I also thought the line itself was cringe. I know.
I thought it was quite forced.
But I did look at it again. I'm happy for somebody who is in that position to tell me I'm wrong, and if somebody
100%.
that's in that position who made them feel powerful, absolutely fantastic. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. But as somebody that was watching it, I said to you on the phone, it'd be different if they went able-bodied, panther man, and she went disabled, and I'd go. But I think what they mean is that the Dr. Donna Metacrisis was a binary connection, and Rose wasn't related to the Doctor, so therefore it didn't.
I see.
So it
separates the degree of separation from the Doctor.
But obviously,
okay.
I think that's what it is. However, I will agree with you when you first watch it. It does look like a weird shot. And
it's a silly line, but I think, or like, it's not a silly line, but I think it's very like, it takes you out of the moment, I think, for a second.
Yeah. I think, especially for an episode as well, that, again, from my perspective, I'm not doing wrong, that looked like it was great representation across the board. Every character was written so well. Like George said, it was part of their characters, but it wasn't just their character.
Yeah.
But instead it was just binary. You cut to Rose half regenerating.
Yeah.
And going non-binary. Great. That entire bit I don't really have an issue with in prospect. There is one bit I have an issue with.
Go on.
I don't get why some people do this in television and film, especially in Doctor Who. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Russell is anti-man or anything like that. But
right.
Why?
So the woman
many times, especially in the past, especially from the Moffat era onwards, is there sometimes blokes will never give up this. Because, no offense, first of all, David Tennant's Doctor is not masculine in the slightest. He's the most campy, bubbly bloke. He doesn't really get he's in a sword fight once, but he never gets into like a fist fight or a scrap, or he's not got a six-pack, or, he's not a bloke that craves power. And then they go, as a male Time Lord, you'll never understand. But if you were a woman still, you would. It's like, the Doctor's character doesn't change that much. The logic doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, the fact that they've gone, it's fine, the Doctor's gender fluid, and then go, but actually, if you were a man, you wouldn't understand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The fact that you're now saying that you are a man and going by he, him pronouns means that you don't understand this.
And also the fact that they were then like, oh, we can just let it go. Why didn't we do that in the first place?
Well, I think that part doesn't affect me as much because it's sort of like now that this thing
now
is
that they're
split,
split,
it's more
they
manageable.
can now let it go.
Only it's more manageable for like 30 more seconds. Like you've got to be quick.
But it's like I think it's more of like
imagine if in Journey's End the Doctor's like, right now I will find you a man. You will make a baby and you will be free, and we will be able to be friends again.
It will be the 120th anniversary, and the same thing will happen. The Doctor will be like, "I know what to do."
But like, no, I'm not saying it's cheap as Journey's End because we don't know where this ends, and there was a certain shot that hasn't appeared from the trailers, which I'm going to bring up to you guys. I don't know if you're aware, but I do feel like the prospect of them just being able to let it go, Elsa, if you will, is just a bit dumb. I didn't like it as well as the fact of it. If they went, oh, you don't understand because now we're two minds and you're only thinking as one, that's fine. But to go, you're a man, you don't understand that you don't need power. I was sat on the sofa a little bit going, what the hell has Tennant done?
I think it's a frame of, well, the way I thought about it was that he didn't want to go in.
Oh,
time.
Okay, yeah.
So that's how I viewed it.
No, but then they went as a man. They didn't go as you. They went as a man.
Yeah.
Which again,
that would have been a better way of rephrasing it. Being like, oh, if you still had your previous face, maybe you'd understand, but this face wouldn't because you don't want to go. You don't want to let things go.
Yeah.
That would have been a much nicer and Doctor Who-y way of doing it.
Also, again, Rusty Davis, I'm not saying he's anti-man. He literally is one. So I don't, but I'm just saying that as a line that I guess is meant to be a bit of like a girl power line, I don't think you need to have a girl power line which immediately puts down blokes or vice versa. I think you can have a girl power line and it have nothing to do with any other gender or any other person or whatever. Whereas, like, we've had it in the chicken era where he'd be like, oh, I've had an upgrade, now I'm a woman. Why can't it just be a linear?
I find it so weird that we didn't have a lot of those kind of, because if you think about it, to think that the Doctor was a woman in the chicken era, I don't think he ever made a big point of her being, well, now I'm a woman, I'm smarter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's only one bit in Spyfall when Stephen Fry's
like, the Doctor's a man.
And she goes, "Oh, an upgrade," which, in fact, in the context, I don't mind because it's basically her going, "You're a sexist pig, women are equal, do one." But yeah, I wasn't a massive fan of that particularly. And again, the Let It Go thing, I think it's fine, it works, but will that cheapen Jenny's end in years to come?
Yeah, maybe.
But then basically, we end off on our adventures by looking at the best TARDIS to exist in the history of time. Thank you very much.
My God.
It's their chemistry at the end is what we need again.
I know it's not the case, but I like to think that shot of David running around the TARDIS was actually the first time he saw it. I know
apparently he suggested to run around the whole thing, and by the 8th take, he really regretted doing it.
I like the fact though. That it's Matt Smith's TARDIS if Professor X designed it.
Yeah, and it's got.
Don't you think it looks like Sporticus's ship from Lazy Town?
Yeah. Russell came out and said that it was heavily influenced by. He said Clara's TARDIS, which I would just say is the first TARDIS.
I know he just said that he liked. No, when he. I think what you're getting at was like he said he liked the return of the white colours of the TARDIS.
Oh right.
It's more sciencey. It's cleaner.
As well, we get a line from Shirley where she goes, "One word for you, Doctor, is jammy." And he goes, "Jam on toast." Just say jammy Dodger. That was the one line I thought. I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. And he went, jam on toast. Who even likes jam on toast? It's all right. It's not the best thing you can have on toast. It's clearly butter. Sorry, not sorry.
What, just butter?
Just butter?
Yeah, butter, yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. But you look at
it's fine. In a pinch, it's fine. Maybe Why would you not want to add something else?
Add more.
Maybe Nutella. Maybe Nutella. But you wouldn't have butter in Nutella, though. You just have Nutella. You put butter on it and then add Nutella.
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what
that's grease. That's just greasified.
Yeah.
That's like being like, do you know what I really like in my sandwich? Mayonnaise.
And it's be like, well, where's the?
I do like mayonnaise in my sandwich. I don't have mayonnaise.
Just mayonnaise.
Or just mayo.
I wouldn't pick it, but someone who's a ketchup
if somebody went,
ketchup sandwich.
That's wrong as well. I can't do ketchup by itself.
Oh really?
Yeah, man. Back to Alex being a weirdo.
Sandwich podcast. But speaking of food and drink, the TARDIS now is a coffee machine. Yes. I'll be the next companion.
Please, yeah.
No, yeah, I'll do it.
Next season they'll have a Starbucks on board.
Do you think it needs a bit more, as in like furniture and stuff?
No, I like how basic it is.
Really?
I like how it's big. I like how you can see rooms, and if you want to use the rooms, do it. And
I think that similar to what they did with Matt Smith and Capaldi and that switch over, it'll be shooty and he'd have put out more stuff. There'll be a couple bookshelves or a few things that are iconic to that.
There's just
that's
I'm a big
nice.
Fan of that.
I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think also something I didn't even know. So you know that picture of Tennant with like in the circly that's from the TARDIS.
Yeah.
But I think it was from next episode.
No, it's from the TARDIS.
No, it's from the TARDIS.
From the TARDIS.
Did you notice that obviously in Tennant's first full episode, T saves the day, and in this episode, Coffee damns it.
So this is why I can no longer watch Doctor Who, because what Russell was saying is tea better than coffee, and I just don't agree with that stance. I get he's going Britain tea, yes, coffee American.
I think
shake your hand to the Disney Plus people, by the way, who love coffee.
I think it's more of like the in 2005 this show was mostly being consumed in Britain, and so tea was the go-to. But nowadays, I think that coffee shops, especially in the UK, in 2005 you didn't have like Costas and Starbucks on every corner. You know, you had
So
a few.
Do
Yeah.
you guys actually think the coffee machine did, or do you think there's more to play than just the coffee being spilled?
No. Here's what I think happened. There's a reference at the beginning of the episode that she lost her job because she put coffee in her computer. So what does she do at the end of this episode? Puts coffee in the central TARDIS console.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's funny.
Well, have you seen what happens to the TARDIS in the next episode?
It's going mad.
We just talk about the fact that the TARDIS consistently gets blown up. I get that. The only issue with this one is that a lot of the effects were CGI, which I don't blame them. Don't destroy that lovely set you've just made.
Yeah.
Like,
please don't.
Please don't. Keep that TARDIS for the rest of the time. Want to give it a different coat of paint? Do it. But keep the eye.
I love how versatile the lighting is in that TARDIS. You could have that TARDIS for the next 3-4 Doctors, and it would all look different. Just because
it looks like a night out in Prism if you want to change it up a bit disco. You know,
that's a little bit, yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I think the TARDIS does look sick. We get our big. Oh no, she put coffee in the thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our scores on the doors. Obviously, it's very weird to do this. This is the first time as well since 2021 that we're going to have back-to-back episodes of Doctor Who in a week's. Get that. And it's also the first time I think I saw in 3 years and 9 months that it's the first episode where Chris Chibnall hadn't even written it or co-written it. So fair play to him, because I didn't realise how much he actively did in his era. But I guess Flux.
Yeah, he worked a lot on Flux.
I mean, Flux messed it up because he had to change his entire plans up, and he was going to do something very different. And then he was like, "Well, everyone's got COVID. I have to shorten." Was
Legend of the Sea Devils originally in that?
I'm going to guess in some form. It still wasn't very good either way. Sorry, it's bad. And that's coming from a Jodie fan. But ironically, I think the Radio Times gave the Star Beast and Sea Devils the same score, which really, really worried me, because I was like, oh, it's but yeah, scores on the doors. I've seen everything from 1s to 10s on this. Osian, you were saying,
have you seen a 1 on this?
I've seen a 1 on this. It's probably someone not liking the. It's probably somebody that doesn't like the fact that Yasmin Finney exists.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that right now. Therefore, to me, it's not a valid review. If the reason you don't like something is because somebody
bad representation,
is something you don't like, grow up, or just don't watch it. People will be what they want to be.
Also, can I just say quickly, to do with the representation, people were saying, "Oh well, it's said a lot in this episode," and I was like, "Yeah, well, you forget it. Like, it's a fucking family show. I think the main thing is to get younger kids, have it more have them learn about it as well."
Again, in Unleashed, Russell, they spoke to Yasmin and Russell, and I think Yasmin said that there was a lot of trans people on telly, or there wasn't any, at least in a serious role. There might have been people dressing up in drag or whatever, and that maybe not even in a way which is correct. Obviously, they got things like Drag Race and stuff, which is brilliant. And Paul O'Grady, I guess, may have been like one of the only people back in the day that would do it in a way that was tasteful and being a drag queen himself. So that sort of stuff. So they were talking about that, and Russell said, well, if you put people existing in shows, it doesn't become an outlier, it just becomes a thing. So over time it just becomes natural. And people don't
it's the idea of making it
Captain Jack back in the day.
I'm the sort of person that thinks things like LGBTQ rights and all that sort of stuff and disability should be taught in schools, should be on kids' television, because the amount of people that you meet have gone, I've never seen a disabled person really in my life before, never interacted with them, and in my life I go, how do you not know anything about? Again, you wouldn't have people on Twitter going, how is she disabled? She crossed her legs, she's not disabled, as if that's a metric to not be in a wheelchair. Trust me, if that was I can be in a wheelchair, I'd bloody love it. If I could start running around now like you did in the TARDIS, I'd be there. But I don't think that's how it works.
TARDIS is accessible.
It is accessible. It looks great.
All them ramps, yeah.
All them ramps. I want to Tony Hawk off that shit real bad.
Atheists prove this.
It looks great. Yeah, absolutely. But Osh, score on the door, mate. What are you saying?
For me, I'd probably have to go either 7.5 or an 8. It's between that. I would probably go with a 7.5. I think that it has its flaws. It's very funny, camp, and silly. but not silly, but not silly in like in a bad way. I think it was just silly,
Yeah,
silly fucking episode.
Silly can be good.
But I think this is a brilliant start to a new era, and I'm really excited for what's to come.
Yeah, I'm going to go in the middle. I'll let George get the end. I said this again yesterday in my first reaction, and I do not mean this in a negative in any way. I would lamp the same criticisms at this that I would a film like The Marvels, where it's a lot of fun and you enjoy watching it, but realistically doesn't hold much weight, and does the story kind of have a few loopholes and a bit of this and that just to get, But did I have a good time watching it? Yeah. And that's it. I'd always say it's fun but flawed, and I'd lamp that sort of stuff with The Marvels and that sort of thing. I'm going to give this a 7. I think it's really fun. And I think when you think about it on its own, maybe you put it higher, but then when you think about Series 4, this is like Unicorn the Wasp level for me. And that's not a disrespect. I know obviously the writer and all that. Don't support him at all before people have a go at me. He's a twat. But in terms of entertainment value, I put it at that level where it's really fun and you really have a good time with it. But after a year, are you going to really go Star Beast? Oh, that was top tier. But I don't think it's designed to be top tier. It's designed to kind of boot the door back open and go, look, it's David Tennant. It's fun, in it, and it's Catherine Tate, and there's Miriam Margolyes, as a little creature, evil, and she wants to destroy all of London. Like it's stupid, but by design, and that's fun. Doctor Who can be stupid and great. I mean, Christ, there's a lot of those. I mean, Vampires in Venice, for Christ's sake. Fish.
Yeah, there's so many.
Fish monsters seduce people so that they can turn them into more fish monsters. How do they seduce them? By being hot. That's the plot. That's the plot of Vampires, and it's stupid, but also quite funny.
Also, a lot of his own episodes are very like camp and weird, and
Doctor Who and camp sort of go together. Like
they go together as well.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of one thing I hope we don't lose because Disney had very little influence on these episodes. I believe. I think the Disney Plus stuff actually starts with Ncuti Gatwa. They just kind of accepted these episodes and took them on board, so that it would be an opening. I think as well it's important that they do, considering Ncuti Gatwa's appearing in these specials before his own series, which I think lends to the fact that everyone going, oh no, Russell's going to entirely reboot the show. It's like what you talk about, Mel is in the new series, so he's not. But yeah, no, 7.7 for me, 7.5, 7 around that area. Really fun, but like not the best thing to ever exist. That's my.
But does it get you excited for what's to come?
Yeah, but I think I'm more excited about that because of potential. Because of how secretive it is. That's why I'm excited.
The next episode. Oh my god! Yeah.
I mean, I'm really. I think one thing is that it feels very Russell. Was not feel very Russell. You can tell this is a Russell T Davies that has written years and years. That has written it to sin. That is. It was incredible back in 2005, but he's potentially the best writer working in telly now. Like to get him is a coup for Doctor Who, and to get him back and be passionate and be ready for it, great. I'm up for that. But George, your ranking, is it in the same area as me and Ash?
It's slap bang in that same area. I think you hit the nail on the head when you say that Doctor Who is meant to be camp. It's meant to be fun, and this definitely is fun. This episode is fun. There's not a boring moment in the episode. You're constantly wondering what's going to happen next. You're constantly looking for that next that next thing. I'm giving this episode an 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
Because I think that I had a hell of a lot of fun. This episode just it hits every single one of my little nostalgia points whilst not overdoing it. I think that the 50th anniversary it uses the nostalgia as a crutch in the story, whereas this doesn't. You speed straight through the meeting of the Doctor and Donna, and you're straight into the action of it. I really like that aspect. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
But the more important question is, did HT enjoy the episode?
My mother absolutely loved the episode. That's all
I wanted to know. Shout out to HT, the best of the Tucker clan. Sorry, George. And sorry to your dad as well.
No. My deceased cat was top of the tier.
Oh, Harry, what a legend. Harry the cat, what a hero.
Yes.
Yeah, that was our review of the Star Beast. I'll be back next week. But if you want to if you want to stick around for 20 minutes and hear us talk about potential theories and thoughts and stuff like that and other stuff, please do. But if not, come back next week. And if you're an audio listener, make sure to check out the YouTube channel, because my initial reactions with Reese, who I'm watching these episodes, well, the first episodes with, go on the YouTube channel exclusively. So make sure that you go check that out, because you ain't going to get them on Spotify and other platforms that you may use. But like you said, Arshan, there's a few things we haven't spoken about. Number one, the meat goes the boss. Who could that be? Is it Alan Sugar?
Oh,
It's not the toy maker. It's not the toy maker.
But is it Sir Alan Sugar?
Yes.
Because, you know, he's been in Doctor Who before. He exists in the universe. He's on telly. He's on telly at one point. He might now be in alien involvement. You don't know. You know, it's not the toy maker. No, this is to do with Shruti Gatwa. Unless David Tennant is a very good liar, which I don't believe he is. Whoever the boss is, I have no idea. The issue with it being cryptic is that it does lead you to think that it's somebody that we will know. Because if it was somebody you didn't know, they would just go, "Oh, they're blah 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 blah," and you'd go, "What's that?" And then you kind of forget about it for a few months until season one rolls around, and you go, "Oh, there's the reference to the blah 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 blah," like how he did with Bad Wolf and all that sort of stuff. You hear it like once and twice.
It's Russell, isn't it?
But
like, leaving little
with it being the boss, you've got to think it's somebody we know. But that's just me thinking, why else would you write it like that? Even though he hasn't come up with the alien name yet when he wrote this episode, and he was like, "Oh, I'm running out, lads. Give me."
Now, hear me out, guys. The boss potentially could be the Timeless Child. It could very much be.
It's Stephen Moffat. It's Stephen
Moffat. Yeah, absolutely. The boss is Walt Disney.
Apparently. Well, here's the thing. You would think he would indicate. You think he would indicate the toy maker and Neil Patrick Harris' toy maker. But David Tennant said in that commentary thing that he doesn't know anything about.
Yeah, so that. Either he's
might be lying.
He's a very, very, very good liar, or he's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing about Tennant is that he's one of those actors that when he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it," you know, he's one of the people that will watch it. Like he's not one of those actors who goes, "Oh yeah, I love Doctor Who." You know, sorry to name names, but Dakota Johnson saying that she loves Marvel movies, but then opts to work on Madam Web. I don't know about that one. Just say you wanted the money, love. It's not. You know, people will go fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Tennant goes, "Oh, I'm actually excited to see what that's about," you know that he's actually going to watch it and digest it and sit there. Right, one thing for me that was interesting, obviously Donna survives the "why does it have to be this?" But we still haven't seen that shot from the trailer. He goes, "I don't know if I can save your life this time."
That's from the giggle.
Here's my question: is Donna dying?
No.
I'm going to say yes, because if you're going to bring Donna back, and she's going to get away scot-free with a great child, great family, you know, in terms of your mum's still alive, Wilf is happily living with Unit, and just there's no consequences, that would then ruin Journey's End. To me, Journey's End is really good as a bookend because there's no loopholes. There's nothing. It's just like I love Angels Take Manhattan, but the issue with their exit is that there are so many loopholes that the Doctor could just fix it, but just can't be fucked.
But do you want something definite?
Yeah, it does. If that does happen, it does.
But she needs something, and you can't wipe her memory again because it's 3 episodes, and it's sort of just like.
But it's like, well, what's the point?
I think what Journey's End also adds, though, and I think it's more to do with, it's sad for Donna and everything like that, but I think what Journey's End and End of Time really add to is the Doctor's arc and character throughout them specials, because then you go on to the specials, he doesn't have anyone with him, and that then leads into the time of Victorious.
Yeah, but then that also makes that all redundant anyway, because the time of Victorious itself was made redundant when the Time War was fixed. So if the Time of Victorious has been made redundant, don't make potentially genuinely the best companion exit mean nothing.
I know.
I'm just again, there's nothing wrong with them coming back. I just think if there's no reboot, like make her lose an eye or something. I don't know. Just make her be stuck in a stasis cube, cup of soup, anything. But like, I would feel a bit shortchanged if by the end of it there's no negative impacts that's going back, because right now it all seems sort of rosy. her child has finally found herself, and she's happy with who she is. Everything's gone well for them. She remembers the doctor. She remembers her friend. The doctor now has changed from concerned as to why this face come back to at the end of the episode going, why do we need to worry about it? It just says how it is. That's going to come back to bite him in the arse again. So yeah, for me, it's what needs to happen there. But next week, Wild Blue Yonder. We don't know what's going on here. This episode has been under lock and key. We know it's in some silver rooms. We know the doctor licks something and then presumably passes out. That's kind of what I got from the clip. What could be happening here? I've got a few. I've got a few suggestions. Fugaba potentially. Is it all John Barrowman getting revenge on David Tennant for coming back for the specials? As you can see, by the way, I'm sorry, did you see his really arsey TikTok?
Yes.
He's like, I'm really gutted that as one of the first openly gay characters, I was asked to come back.
We are paved the way for the rest of them.
I'm trying to think, Barrowman, why you weren't asked. They must have just
I don't know,
forgot.
mate.
They must have just forgot.
But
let me just remind you. I put it on your shoulder.
Yeah. Like my thing as well was like the fact he was like, I'm going to keep doing it like in the way talking about it in conventions. You mean where you charge people to meet you money so they can tell you how much they love you? Yeah. It just reeked of arrogance to me. That bit. But no, look, if it is a cameo fest, great. But it has to be there for a reason. I think this is the route they're going down. But I hope.
I'm wondering how it can be a cameo fest if it's spaceships. I don't want to know anything because I've got a feeling you guys might know. No,
we don't. We get told stuff, but the validity of that is sort of like hearing from anyone, and you can read anything on Reddit, and that becomes sure. Is that legit or is it a load of bollocks?
Or is it? Yeah, of course.
It's the same names all the time. So you Matt Smith, you Capaldi's,
Okay.
Susan is always in the mix. It's the same people. It's like whenever there's a new doctor. Oh, Chris Marshall's definitely in the running this time. Is he ever been in the running? We don't. Poor bloke. He must be thinking, well, I might get it this time. I've apparently been in the running so many times.
Still waiting for my Danny Dyer doctor, if I'm honest.
I would love that, even for like a comic relief special.
No.
Just him going around the Dalek for a comic relief special. I think it'd be brilliant. He went up to a Dalek and being like, "Oi, get out the pub," like tricking it and like snapping the eye stalk off, and I think it'd be great. But yeah, if it is a cameo fest, great. I'm never a fan of cameos coming back and it not being the characters and it being hallucinations. Because you don't really get your characters back. You get to see the actors on screen and it gets ripped away from you. And while it's cool, that was the good thing about the Guardians of the Edge scene. It was that although the Doctors weren't physically there, in the universe, canonically, those incarnations still were there without physically having a body. It wasn't like the Doctor was seeing old regenerations and they were like, "Get up, Doctor! You got to keep fighting."
You see that in like Big Finish and stuff, you've got characters like the 11 who literally have like every incarnation of themselves rattling around in their head.
Yeah,
they switch.
Absolutely. So like, I just hope it's not hallucinations. Obviously, look, if it's a cameo first, then Matt Smith isn't in it. Don't expect a reaction or review because I will just turn it off and
I will just turn it off.
Like, if ever, also any actor that has said I'm not in it, don't believe him for a second.
They're not the werewolf.
They're not the werewolf, guys. They're definitely not the werewolf.
If I don't get a Clara at some point, I will be annoyed.
Spacey Williams.
I also at the same time wouldn't get your hopes up just in case if they're not in it.
No, but like I don't think that therefore because it's not a cameo episode that makes it bad. Because inherently, cameo episodes of Doctor Who are technically worse, but they're better because they're enjoyable to watch.
I wasn't a big fan of Power of the Doctor. But then the cameos were quite cool.
But then you were a fan of Day of the Doctor, despite.
But I was a fan of Day of the Doctor,
and you were a fan of Journey's End and things like that. It's because when the cameos matter to you, you connect to it more.
Yes.
When going, oh, I've never seen a Peter Davison episode. Who the fuck is Adric? Isn't he that Donny that died that one time?
No, I never know if I was right.
And also the only thing you know about Sylvester McCoy was really the "Hello, Shitty" video with him with the helicopter thing. The only cameo that doesn't work for me in Power of the Doctor is Graham being in a volcano randomly. Apart from that, love it. But I wouldn't call
the
cameos in Journey's End though to be cameos.
No, but it's the same sort of thing, right? Is that some of the logic of the episode is ripped away to make space for extra characters. Like Jackie and Mickey don't need to be in that at all, and yet they are.
Okay, fair enough.
Like Jackie and Mickey don't implant the plot one iota. Same thing for like the torture people. Like Captain Jack had just popped up. The only thing Torch would do is press a space bar on a laptop. Literally it. And then they get stuck by a Dalek until they don't because it randomly blows up.
Yeah, that is true.
Like
yeah, they don't play much of a part in there, do they?
No. And then Mr. Smith makes a phone call at one point. That's basically their involvement. But like it's allowed to be because as long as it's entertaining, that's what telly's meant to be. You know, it's not. It's not Schindler's List or like it doesn't. It's not there to be like really reviewed and been the goat. It's there to go.
I like that you went to Schindler's List.
Yeah, that was so like that was just like
it's
way
not
out
Schindler's List.
Yeah,
it's because everyone hounds me for not seeing Schindler's List.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen Ash. Have you seen Schindler's List?
no, I haven't seen it now.
Well, there we go.
John and Connor, who's on next week. Fuck you. None of us have seen Schindler's List. Do one. I'm okay with the cameo episode being like lesser in story quality if it puts a smile on my face. That's
I think
it for this week, really.
I'm just gonna cut you off before you end this. I think that as a 60th anniversary celebration, if we don't get cameos, not that I'll be disappointed, but I'll feel like something's missing.
Yeah. I think it's a must. I think people going, oh, but the last episode was like really cameo filled. Meh. Don't care.
Yeah.
It's been a year. It's not like it was 2 weeks ago and they've gone, we're doing it again. And the only time you're going to get annoyed by that is if you're watching Modern Who back to back.
Yeah.
But like in terms of actual broadcast.
It's how you. I'm not calling it. It's just I understand how you felt, but it's like you watching End of Time after you'd watched. You've caught up with Journey's End because you were like, well, we've just seen these characters basically.
Yeah, and
you know I mean?
also End of Time is just a bit bad. It's bad. Sorry, it's bad. Dinner time. No, it's bad.
Yeah, Master's a great enough.
He makes a skeletal joke.
He does make a skeletal joke, and he just screams, and the Doctor knows it through the falls.
And the beef and chips and hot fat red.
Am I allowed to talk? Not talk. I won't talk about it. But are we allowed to maybe say?
I hope you do talk.
Are we allowed to say? Is this going leak. Where that leak is going?
Okay, so there's.
I would like to know.
There's a leak out, and
I wouldn't talk about the leak.
We're not going to talk about specific things, but there are certain instances within this episode that match up with a certain leak, which people aren't really happy with. What I'm going to say about that is, if there's one episode that leakers are going to get correct, it's the first one. I think keep an eye on it. Because the thing is, you can go, oh yeah, I've heard this and this about the Beat the Me episode, because also that was shot a lot outside. Whereas the rest of it, they could just make it up, and then the last big thing is batshit. But you've already read all the stuff that's credible, so it makes the ending think it's real. And that's always what I am on leaks. I never just immediately jump the gun. Also, when you read something on a Reddit paragraph, it comes across a lot more batshit than how it might actually work. I'm not gonna
lie. I went, oh well, there's no way it's just gonna spill coffee all over the TARDIS, and I was like, wait, there's coffee. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh wait, this is going down this route, isn't it? No, but to be fair, I won't talk about the leak or anything. But if this is going to happen, this episode has made me feel a lot more. Not excited for it, but like
accepting of it.
I'm definitely gonna. If it does happen, me and you are definitely doing a podcast the week after the specials, in between the gap of Christmas and that, because I disagree with that leak existing entirely, and I can't go into why because it will spoil certain parts of the leak.
Wait, you don't think it's true?
Oh no, I just don't think it should happen. There's nothing that's going to make me happy if it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. For certain reasons, but we'll go into that if it happens. I'm not going to get angry about something that's not happened yet. Go support Oshan Thomas on Twitter at the Oshan Man. He said he was going to do a TikTok about the episode. That hasn't come in my feed yet, so he hasn't done it.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Yeah, I should have.
He might do one for Wild Blue Yonder, depending on if he likes a cameo that pops up. Or he'll go, right, quickly on Wild Blue Yonder. I thought about it. This is the day after, by the way. And although it was a cameo fest, not as good. Now, I understand as Doctor Who fans that we all like cameos on Doctor Who, but as an overall episode, not for me.
No, I'm really excited for next week. I think it's
all I'm going to say is that if you go, the cameos make it good. You watch Power the Doctor, the cameos are great, but an episode of Doctor Who should never be cameo fest. So if you're a hypocrite, I'm going to match cut that video of yourself going, be like, oh, come, But yeah, when Freema Agyeman shows up next when Freema Agyeman shows up, I don't know if she's actually in it, by the way, you're going to lose your shit. But this is the best cameo in Doctor Who ever. I've not seen Martha since the end of time and that one weird scene at the end of it, but we've not seen her since then. And you're going to lose your shit.
For me, if there's good writing backing it up, I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you can go support George, or did you child joined us?
Watch his video about the Nintendo Wii and the DS games of Doctor Who.
Do the thing. Go watch that. It's massively underperforming at the moment. So
somebody's in it.
Yes, it's Alex is in it, and I take a piss out of him the whole video. So go watch that. It's really great.
Yeah. I'm trying to say now, if you do go watch it, I had nothing to do with the editing.
I edited it, but he approved the video before it went out.
But in terms of the jokes that were made, nothing to do with me. It's underperforming. It's doing all right.
It's
It's in terms of your first video, got 52 views in 3 weeks. It's on 43. You've got 41 subscribers now.
It's true. Yeah, I know. I've got a whole 41 subs.
Considering you started 4 weeks ago,
I know it's not. It's actually not bad at all.
10 subs a week.
That's quite good.
I'm pretty happy with that. They take so long to edit.
and if you don't want to subscribe to Joy, just subscribe to the Timeless Podcast. It's free.
Yeah, do that.
We make content.
I don't charge for subscriptions, by the way. Just want to make that obvious.
He will.
Made it sound like I'm like tenner, please.
As soon as you subscribe, if you're not on private, he'll DM you on YouTube. And be like, "Wait, this is £5 actually."
I'll send you my PayPal.
Please, everyone, do take care. Hopefully you enjoy. And of course, Osian will be back soon. I don't know if George will. Because you can have a plan with George. You sort of have to kind of get the week before and say, "Are you free?" They don't go, yes or no.
This has been really fun. This has been very, very fun.
Yeah,
it's nice probably the coffee that I drank beforehand, but it's been very, very fun.
Yes, George was ill prepared to record. He did have some form of cream in the background of his shot. Which
I did not. It's this for the tattoo. I have a tattoo. It's for that.
Yeah, sure. Ill. And on that though,
edit that out.
I just bleeped it. They know what you've said. And on that though, in the words of John Cook, he's not here, but I'll say good night, God bless, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.